What is up, YouTube? So, on my last video, before I deleted the comment, someone mentioned a comment or made a comment that made me stop and think for a second. They said it was a bit hypocritical of me to get mad at somebody for making fun of my trichoteria when I make fun of the Holocaust and shit. It's like, well, okay, that's a fair point, but the difference is I'm not directly going to people's YouTube channels, you see what I'm saying? Like, I know it doesn't justify making fun of the Holocaust, but the difference is, is I'm not going directly to people on YouTube who are Jewish and making fun of them. I'm keeping that shit on my own channel, you know what I'm saying? And like the joke I had made was a fart joke nonetheless, it was immature and potty humorish, and yeah, I made the whole bit about there's a Nazi and a Jew drinking in a bar, the Nazi farts on the Jew, and then the Jew's like, whatever, but then 5-6 times later, the Jew looks over and goes, what the fuck are you doing? And the Nazi says, Holocaust. The Jew says, excuse me? And the Nazi replies, I'm gassing a Jew. Okay, yeah, I know it's a crude and disgusting fart joke, but, I was watching a documentary on the History Channel on YouTube, and it turns out Adolf Hitler had chronic flatulence. Like, I'm not shitting you. When I found that out, I'm just like, oh. And he appointed some crack job for a doctor, and the doctor was making him sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. I mean, you kill 6 million people, karma's gonna be kind of a bitch. I'm just saying. Okay? But yeah, when people said, well, if you make jokes like that, you have no right to get pissed off at somebody for making fun of your trichoteria. And it's like, well, here's the thing, YouTube, is that I'm not directly targeting Jewish people on YouTube and leaving these comments, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Not much of a difference, I know, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And the second thing is, people think that my arguments for pot legalization are stupid. They seem to think that I only want pot legal so I can smoke it legally. And that's not necessarily the entire case. You know what I'm saying? I want pot legal in this country for a number of reasons. Not just so I can legally smoke it, but because I'm sick and tired of this country being broke from a fucking drug war that does nothing but waste our fucking tax money and create racism. You know what I'm saying? And if you actually look at the history of the drug war, people like Harry J. Anslinger said things like, well, if you smoke the pot, it'll make, Negroes want to impregnate your women and shit like that, and blah, 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 blah. Now, if you actually sit and watch the Reefer Madness video, it makes your head hurt because of how stupid and uneducated it is. But you have to remember, this was Prohibition of 1937. And a little interesting fact for you people out there that they will not tell you about Wyoming is that in Wyoming it was perfectly legal to smoke pot until 1980. 36 years of prohibition. And Wyoming itself wastes $9.15 million a year in taxpayers' money to bust non-violent drug offenders. Which, $9.15 million, yeah, that's a lot of fucking money. Okay, and this, as a matter of fact, if we take a calculator here, 9.15 times 36. Oh, damn, which means Wyoming thus far has wasted $329.4 million. Okay, that is a lot of fucking money. Now the thing of it is, if the government was the ones wasting their money, like I said in my last video, then, you know, I wouldn't give nearly as many fucks, because the government is known for wasting money. They do it all the fucking time. You know, start a war they can't afford to pay for. It's like, you know, going back to what I was saying earlier, you know what I'm saying, like, I've had one person continue to harass me on YouTube. You know, they take all these shitty photoshopped images of me, and they've been relentless in trying to get my goat. And when I say that, I don't mean I have a fucking goat, because I don't have a goat. No pets. None. No bueno. Okay? You saw my apartment tour video by now, hopefully. Okay? So I don't have any pets. When someone says that people are trying to get their goat, it's a figure of fucking speech. I don't know if you've heard of the term figure of speech. Let me give you an example here. Let's say it starts raining really heavily outside. Some people might say, oh, it's raining cats and dogs outside. It does not literally mean the sky is falling with cats and dogs. It's just a figure of fucking speech. Now, how many times, okay, I've said I don't have a goat in the YouTube channel of mine, and people don't care. One person even went to the lengths of creating a YouTube account and calling it Josh's Pet Goat, because they think they're being funny. I think it's a waste of YouTube's personal space. So I tried reporting him to YouTube for stealing my online ID and making fun of me and shit, and YouTube got back to me and said, well, in order for us to make a full prosecution, we need a clear picture of you with your photo ID in the picture. I'm like, so okay, YouTube's not going to do shit about it. Great. So when I'm dealing with online haters and trolls and obnoxious cum-guzzling, garter-slut motherfuckers who've got nothing better to do than pick on an autistic, you know what I'm saying? How do you deal with it? My solution has been, if I don't like what you guys to say, I'm not going to deal with it. If you're making fun of me, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to block you from my channel, okay? But don't act so fucking surprised. I'm the world's biggest fucking hypocrite over here. So what the fuck are you, you know, sitting there calling me out on my hypocrisy? Oh, it's nothing new. I mean, don't act so fucking shocked. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to call someone else a hypocrite, think about this for a second. Each and every one of us has been a hypocrite at least once in our lives. Don't believe me? Well, okay, let's go to a certain YouTuber. Let's see. Social autopsy number 3. Oh, there's an ad, and I'm muting it because I don't want copyright infringement on my video. Okay, so the video opens up with Rob hitting a vape pen.
You really shouldn't vape. You just don't know what's in those things. Huh.
Now he's doing that for the effect of the video, obviously, but...
Hello there, and welcome to Social Autopsy, where we kill popular ideas and extract a new perspective. I'm Rob Dyke, and I'm a hypocrite. But don't get too giggly. So are you. Hypocrisy, claiming to uphold morals and values while your behavior says otherwise. It's like when your dad tells you to stop procrastinating, but he still hasn't fixed the car that's been sitting out in the front yard for like 8 months, and it's just rotting like some redneck lawn ornament. Dad, there's no doubt that when we think of somebody as a hypocrite, we think of them as a generally unlikable person. But you need to start being more careful, and one experiment gives you a reason why. Conducted at Northeastern University, this hypocrisy experiment took a single group of just over 40 people and presented them with two activities. The first activity was entertaining and less stressful. The second activity was boring and considerably harder. Now, each test subject is told to choose one activity for themselves. Whichever activity they don't pick will be passed on to another test subject that they don't know. And the test results aren't exactly surprising. 85% of the test subjects chose the first, more fun task, leaving the unknown test subject they were paired with to complete the much less appealing task. Well, that's certainly not a cool thing to do. It's also not hypocritical either, but we aren't done yet. Following this experiment, another experiment took all of the same test subjects and now had them watch others complete the experiment they just had. And when the new test subjects picked the easier task for themselves, they looked down on this behavior and believed it was, to a degree, shameful. The same people who picked the easier task for themselves were suddenly not okay when others picked the easier task for themselves. Now, maybe this doesn't apply to you. You wouldn't be caught dead in that 85%, would you? Well, I still think you're a jerk. But what does that say exactly? What do you think of a person who judges your actions? Someone who vocally disapproves of your lifestyle. I'm willing to bet most of you dislike that person. You try to avoid them and discredit them, and you probably even vocally speak out against them, if even only privately. But isn't that itself a form of being judgmental? You formed an opinion or a conclusion about that person, and that's what judging someone is. And people tend to hate people who judge, or judge negatively anyway. Or how about this? What do you think about a person who's lied to you, betrayed your trust? Well, chances are you've also judged that person, but not only that, you're also a hypocrite if you've ever told a lie in your life. What makes your lie any more acceptable than theirs? The truth of the matter is we're all hypocrites. Simply go out into the world and you'll see it. Drive by a hospital and you'll see nurses and doctors puffing away at cigarettes outside, or perhaps loading up on awful cholesterol-filled food in the cafeteria. How about police officers that speed just for the sake of speeding or turning without using a turn signal? Aren't they breaking the laws they're enforcing on others? The important thing to overcoming a problem is to admit that you have one. Okay, alright, so maybe you're still not on board. Maybe you're an exception to the rule. Well, let's cue cognitive dissonance. And it's something you really probably should be aware of. Cognitive dissonance is that icky feeling you get when you have conflicting beliefs at the same time. But it's also that icky feeling you get when you're confronted with new information that contradicts your current beliefs. It's that thing that gets people to vote in politicians for multiple terms, even if they're shown irrefutable evidence that the person is a total douche dumpster. They just can't admit that they were wrong to support the person to begin with, and therefore actively participate in degrading society just because they can't admit that they were wrong. So in other words, it's not exactly something you want to be associated with too often. We as people honestly need to all start admitting that we're hypocrites in one way or another. It's all a part of growth and change, evolving as a human being. As time goes on, our opinions and beliefs change. What we believed once might not apply 20 years later. But don't you worry, just because someone's a hypocrite doesn't mean they can't offer good, solid advice. I mean, if a fat person tells you that you shouldn't eat Chinese takeout every day and you should stop not going to the gym, is that not solid advice, even if that person is engaging in those exact things that they're telling you not to? Sometimes a hypocrite's wisdom is actually our best hope. Sometimes we need to see the effects of the wrong thing in order to understand why it's important. Like seeing a drug addict withering away from the effects of their addiction. To see it and hear their advice not to do drugs is more powerful than a non-addict telling you not to do drugs. See, the important thing is just to not let your natural hypocrisy negatively impact another person's life. And the golden rule holds true. Maybe. And if after all this you're still an exception, you're still not a hypocrite, no, not you, well, I don't think you're even watching this video because I don't believe caskets get Wi-Fi. That's all for now. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and also if you want to learn more things you weren't prepared to admit, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.
Now, the same person that's been harassing me on YouTube creates another account, and he or she puts this in the comment section, and I quote, this is the person's comment: "Josh, call your mother for your anal wart cream and goat food." And it's like, they're not even trying, you know. I don't have anal warts, therefore I don't need cream. I don't have any fucking pets, therefore I don't need pet food of any kind. And, you know, when someone's relentlessly harassing you on YouTube and YouTube ain't gonna do shit about it, then you just take it upon yourself to make it easier to ignore them. And by doing that, you block them from your channel, which causes them to go, well, shit, now I can't comment on this person's channel and make fun of him. What the fuck am I gonna do? Oh, I know. I'll create another account. I'll take a photo of his off the internet and make it really shitty, do a horrible job photoshopping it, and then, yeah, I'll show him, block. God damn it, he did it again. Okay, what am I going to do? And not noticing that their pattern is in a repetitive circle. Okay? They're not noticing this repetitive circle that they've drugged themselves into. You know, rather than explore the vast quality of YouTube videos that people have to offer, they're so focused and hell-bent on making fun of me, you know. And it's like, I can understand where people are saying that, well, you don't have the right to bitch about people making fun of you when you make fun of the Holocaust and blah 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 blah. Okay, here's the thing, YouTube. I don't just make fun of the Holocaust. I make fun of pretty much anything. Okay, the Holocaust joke I made wasn't appropriate. How about this? Did you know that Jesus Christ had the best hands for masturbation? His holiness. Is that what they meant by his second coming? Oh, Christian joke. Nailed it. Okay, if that was not offensive enough for you, you know what I'm saying? I could look up abortion jokes. Would that make you feel any better? Yeah. Which, in my opinion, abortion should be a woman's right. I don't think the state should have the right to choose whether or not a woman wants to terminate her pregnancy. And some people would argue that, well, abortion's wrong. It's always better to adopt. Have you seen how fucked up our world is? What the fuck are you on? Now, some people are asking about Bailey, and, well, I haven't met her yet, YouTube, unfortunately. You know, when I get told that by a homeboy of mine, you know, and people can think what they want to think, I don't care, we'll see what happens, you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, you know what I'm saying? But my homeboy Scotty says, and I quote, he knows this girl Bailey he used to go to high school with. And I'm like, oh, do tell. Come to find out, she has Asperger's, she smokes a pipe, she listens to metal, and she has pet snakes. And it's like, what now? I'm like, okay, you've intrigued my interest. But then I find out that guys were not so nice to her and stuff, so, you know, which I can understand if she's reluctant to just jump into a relationship, or at the very least meet somebody, you know what I'm saying? Some people asked why the fuck my nails are so dirty. Simple answer to that, digging out of my ashtrays that I have in my apartment, picking up them cigarette butts, and squishing that tobacco into my pipe. Now, like I said, okay, I know that just because I don't attack other people's channels like people have been doing to me in the last couple of years on YouTube, I know that doesn't justify making a joke about the Holocaust. Some people are going to Some people are going to get offended by that naturally, but Auschwitz orange juice, made from 100% concentrated juice. And Ballpark Franks, hot dog with that extra special crispy taste. Each hot dog comes with a diary. Some of you are probably like, dude, yeah, my jokes are as rotten as a corpse, what can I say? But I guarantee you that if this kind of sense of humor topic, if these topics from, if this was something that Cartman said on South Park, you'd be laughing your ass off. You'd be like, oh, that Cartman, I tell you, haha. And why is it that if a cartoon says something offensive, people don't take it nearly as seriously as when a person actually says it? And that's because logically, when you think about it, it's like, okay, how the fuck am I going to get pissed off at a cartoon? It's just a cartoon, I remember the episode of South Park where they made fun of Asperger's syndrome. It's one of my favorite episodes. I thought that shit was funny as fuck. But hold on a second. Okay, I'm gonna set this down on the floor like that. I was gonna set the ashtray on my leg here and kind of pick through it, but I think to myself, that's a recipe for disaster. Knowing how clumsy I actually am, if I were to sit the fucking ashtray on my lap and go, oh golly gee willikers, look what I'm, fucking pick some butts out of my ashtray and squeeze the tobacco into my pipe. And knowing me, I'd spill the ashtray all over the fucking floor, and I'd be like, So we're going to avoid that situation. Now, you think that the cigarette's all done, right? Well, if we give it a wee bit of a squeeze, and there's about that much tobacco in one cigarette butt, which ain't bad, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, it's like you got all this tobacco at your disposal, why the fuck waste it? I mean, I'm sure if I were to look up a shit ton of jokes, there's jokes about every religion, period. So, my point to this is, okay, you're going to get pissed off at me if you're making jokes about the Holocaust. But when I make jokes about something you're not offended by, you know what I'm saying? If I make a joke that you're not offended by, and you think that shit's funny as fuck, right? But that doesn't mean that someone else won't be offended by that joke. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. Again, I know it doesn't justify my sick sense of humor. All these motherfuckers making fun of my trichoteria. It's like, you know what? I'm checking my bald spot right here, and I can feel tiny hairs starting to grow back. Like, legitimately, they're starting to grow back. You know what I'm saying? And it may take me a couple months to maybe another year to get, you know what I'm saying, the hair in my head that's been picked out to grow back completely. But, it's whatever. My argument to this was, I've seen several goths with half their heads shaved. So why the fuck should I be upset about a couple bald spots in my head? Now, the only way to physically cure yourself of trichoteria, it's a mental thing, really, and you gotta physically make yourself stop, One of the reasons why I wear my bandana is because it looks cool, and, it prevents me from picking up my hair. You want to get a girlfriend, but if you're on a first date and she sees you're balding, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Is this person on crack? I don't even know. That's like, baby girl, I swear I'm not on crack. I don't do that nasty shit. But yeah, speaking of which, you know, people were saying that my argument for legalization was stupid because I sound like a pothead who just wants to smoke pot legally. And it's like, no, you're missing the point altogether. I don't just support legalization of marijuana because I want to fucking smoke it legally. I support the legalization of marijuana for this country because, for the simple fact, our founding fathers grew it on their plantation. The United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence were both drafted on hemp paper. Henry Ford's first Model T ran on hemp ethanol. Parts of the car were made out of hemp. In 1900, you could order black tar heroin from the Sears catalog. So in a sense, you can say that drugs have driven the history of this country. But I don't classify marijuana as a drug, I classify it as a plant. Now, some of you can sit there and argue with me all goddamn day. No, it's not a plant, it's a drug. Okay, you don't have to say to your argument. The only reason you call marijuana a drug is because the fucking DEA and the government classified it as such. If the government hadn't classified marijuana as a drug, you'd be calling it a plant, just like everybody else, every other person. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me tell you something, YouTube. If I was president of the United States of America, you want to call it a drug, but any drug that can be started from a plant, I would legalize. I'd legalize pot, I'd legalize DMT, I'd legalize peyote, I'd legalize salvia, I'd legalize cocaine in its purest form, not the stepped-on baking soda bullshit, but you know what I'm saying? And I'd legalize shrooms and acid, you know what I'm saying? And well, if you're going to be doing any hallucinogenic, you got to be in a safe environment. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've done shrooms before. They're quite fun. You know, when I did them, I didn't do anything stupid. You know, I kind of stared around the room a bit. You know what I'm saying? I had one of those see-through lighters. You know what I'm saying? Those cheap 50-cent ones you get at the gas station. I took a couple shrooms, and then after I ate them, I washed it down with some fresh squeezed lemonade. And, you know, I started watching music videos, and, you know, I'd pause the music video to watch the video go, woo, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But about 15-20 minutes into my mushroom trip, the entire room had turned the color of the lighter that I had. I had one of those cheap see-through lighters, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh man, this is cool. You know, why the fuck is this illegal? It's a fucking fungus, dude. You know, and for the fact of the matter is, you know, why should cocaine be legal? Because it was in Coca-Cola at one point. Duh. It's a well-known fact that Coca-Cola used to put cocaine in their soda. That was like America's first energy drink, if you think about it. But then some people stepped in and they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. That's illegal. So Coca-Cola's like, fuck, we gotta change our formula. So what exactly do they do? Well, they replace it with caffeine and sugar. They replace the cocaine with caffeine and sugar, which does the same thing as cocaine, but on a much smaller scale. The only drug I would not legalize is crystal meth because that shit's nasty. Why the fuck you'd want to smoke something that makes you look like fucking Schmeagol? You know, it's a sad fact, but Casper, Wyoming's a meth town, YouTube. Most people don't know this, but there's so many meth labs in this town, and it's tearing this community apart. It's making me sick to my fucking stomach, dude. I think to myself, well, if they legalize pot in Wyoming, it allows cops to actually go after real fucking criminals. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it takes to make meth, but, you know, if you're mixing dangerous chemicals in your house and you run the risk of, you know, that shit exploding, you know what I'm saying? Like, see, marijuana, unlike crystal meth, you don't have to do nothing chemically to it. You take that seed and you cultivate it. You know, if marijuana starts off as a seed and then grows into a leafy plant, you know what I'm saying? Then chances are it's a plant. And you can sit here and argue with me all goddamn day, all you want. Sit there and say, marijuana is not a plant. It's okay, if we're going to be technical with it, marijuana is a plant with drug-like side effects. Yeah. And it's extremely frustrating, at the same time, you know, somewhat comforting, in a sense, when government officials come out and say that they've tried pot, you know what I'm saying? It's frustrating because, you know, the government has total control over the laws in this country, and they have this fucking law that says you can't smoke pot, it's a federal offense, blah, 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 blah. Yet the United States government has its own pot garden in Mississippi, and several government officials have come out saying that they've smoked it, or at least tried it, and yet the thing of it is that if you get arrested with one marijuana cigarette in some states, you don't just lose your house, you lose your job, you know what I'm saying, a whole bunch of shit. Just so they can say, see kids, this is why you shouldn't smoke pot. No, marijuana doesn't destroy lives, this fucking drug war destroys lives, man. And I keep up to date on these kinds of things, but when I'm seeing stories on the internet, okay, of war veterans with PTSD getting arrested for smoking it for their PTSD. You know, it irritates the fuck out of me. I seen this one story on the news that made me sick to my stomach too. I was just like, livid. This one dude was growing a shit ton of cannabis in his backyard to relieve the cancerous sores all over his body, to get rid of all that shit, basically. Now, somebody happened to fly by in a helicopter, and they saw his massive pot garden, and they called the feds on him, and blah, 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 blah. And so this dude's in court, right? And the judge, before they even take to trial, the judge looks at the man and says, if you use your cancer as a defense, I'll throw the book at you and you'll go to prison. What kind of... So the jury asked this dude, so why are you growing all this pot in your backyard? And he had to make up some bullshit excuse. Well, I don't know, sell it to teenagers, I guess. And so because he lied about why he was growing all this pot. See, this is the thing that pissed me off about that story. Like, this person has cancerous sores all over his fucking body, and the only thing that makes them shrink and go away is oil extracted from the cannabis plant. And in the court, when you're upheld by the law, you're supposed to tell the fucking truth. How many fucking court movies or what have you seen where they say, and this is probably true, this is most definitely not probably, this is true in real court, do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and blah, 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 blah? But it's like, the dude can't even use cancer as his own defense, otherwise he goes to jail, so he has to lie about it? Wyoming was one of the last states to go zero tolerance on marijuana. Wyoming was also one of the last states to raise the drinking age to 21. Little couple of fun facts about the state I was born in. Yeah, the top of my hair probably looks like shit. I don't care. It'll grow back eventually. Just gotta leave that shit alone. You know what I'm saying? As I'm sitting here bending over my ashtray. Some of these butts, like, Some of the tobacco in these butts has been smoked all the way through, but some of them contain a couple of cigarette butts that have a little bit of tobacco stored up in the there's no sense in wasting it. I mean, it's been a couple hours since I did my vocal cover video, and oh man, my speech is still, I'm still slurring my speech a little bit, and those 3 shots will fucking do it too, I'll tell you what. Just because somebody makes jokes about Jewish people doesn't mean they're anti-Semitic. I don't give a fuck what faith you follow. It's none of my damn business. A lot of people are asking me to do a video on my own religion, and, I am very hesitant to do that because, lo and fucking behold, in all irony, knowing YouTube, they'd be like, well, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to just come right out and say it. I don't want to get made fun of for my belief system. Oh, but then this guy turns around and makes fun of other people's belief systems. Yeah, I told you I'm the world's biggest hypocrite. What part of that don't you fucking understand? And do I care that I'm the world's biggest hypocrite? Not really, no. Not really. If you're gonna hate me or judge me for it, you better look in the mirror twice, you know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. And the thing of it is, YouTube, is that you gotta have a sense of humor to get by in life, Even if your sense of humor is dark and twisted. Some of these cigarette butts are, most of them, they're pretty empty. Oh, there's another one. Some people be asking why why are your fingers so dirty? And I already answered that. It's from digging through my ashtrays. All that cigarette ash gets underneath my nails. And that's pretty easy to, clean out and stuff, so, yeah. And it is safe to say there are some things I'm not hypocritical on. I know it's hard to believe. No, but bullshit on YouTube for a minute. And then I went to bed, and I'm laying in bed. And sometimes when you're laying in bed, and you can't sleep, you got shit on your mind. And yeah, like I said, I was thinking about what that person said on my YouTube channel, and it made me think for a second. I'm like, you know what, I gotta make a video about this. And Casper got hit with some snow. Blah, yuck. Yuck, yuck, and yuck. I mean, I went to go hang out with some friends earlier tonight, or yesterday night, whatever you want to call it. And I walk outside and there's just snow everywhere, and I'm like, why? I'm like, oh yeah, because winter is not over till I think March 5th or some shit. But of course, when people find out I practice magic, their natural reaction when they make fun of me is to call me Harry Potter and shit. And it's like, oh, because my glasses are round. Ha ha ha. That's real original, I haven't heard that one before. The thing of it is, YouTube, real magic doesn't work like it does in Harry Potter, unfortunately. Do you know how fucking sweet it would be to be able to wave my wand and kill every last motherfucking hate and troll on the internet, and it's done. To have that kind of power. Motherfucker talking shit on your channel, you fucking wave a wand at your computer screen, and that person instantly dies. Oh, that'd be sweet. That would be sweet. But, alas, luckily for them, anyway. And you could cast a spell to kill somebody. But the thing about magic is whatever you put out in your magical circle will come back on you tenfold. So, if you cast a spell to kill somebody or do them great harm, then that spell can bounce back on you and cause you great harm. You know what I'm saying? So, be careful with magic when you're messing around with that shit. You don't want to open up a gateway you can't close. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's open up gateways and fuck with demons. Yeah! Okay, I've gotten every butt pretty emptied of all the tobacco. Like, I can't really find any more cigarette butts in here that are full. Like, yeah. Just dump that out like that. Okay. Yeah, this pipe is filled to the brim with some cigarette tobacco. Like, you can take that black and mild wine wood tip that I smoked and dig the tobacco out of that if I'm really fiending. But, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, I can choose to focus on the hair that I've picked out on top of my head. Or I could choose to focus on, you know, the hair I haven't picked out. You know what I'm saying? And every so often, you know, if I'm not picking my hair out, you know, I can put my hand up there and be like, oh, look at that. I can feel hair growing back at that spot. That spot's completely healed. And so is that one. Alright, so you have this. I had bald spots. But like, I had one like right here, and then one like right here. And those seem to have healed up quite nicely. It's just this area right here. And if you want to, if you have trichoteria and you want to beat that shit, man, you've got to try your damnedest to tell yourself no. You know what I'm saying? And if you can find something to do with your hands, distract yourself, you know what I'm saying? Smoke a bowl of tobacco out of your pipe if you have one. Well, if you're a non-smoker, you know, find something to distract your hands. And, you know, you wear the bandana. Like, I wear a bandana because, you know, when it's on, I can sit there and blah, 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 you know what I'm saying? What? Now, I could be I could be an even bigger hypocrite, and I could say, look, YouTube, if you have a significant other, don't cheat on them. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be with that person, then just break up with them. Well, you're one to fucking talk. Didn't you cheat on your girlfriend? Yeah, I did, and I regret it, YouTube. Okay? I really do. Like, I was drunk, I was horny, my girlfriend was long distance at the time. And there's a girl right there in front of you offering to fuck you, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing of it is, YouTube, if I would have kept my fucking mouth shut, me and Stephanie would probably still be together. She'd be none the wiser. You know what I'm saying? There's a chance I would have gotten away with it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, how can I take lying to somebody like that? You know what I'm saying? And so I had to come clean about it. And initially, that's what did it. You know what I'm saying? That's what did it. And looking back on it now, you know what I'm saying? It was stupid. I mean, you know, and this may sound like an excuse to you, but at the time, you know, I'm like, fuck yeah, I got my first girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? The confidence went to my fucking head. Not just, you know, the head between my legs, but the head on my shoulders, you know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about confidence, man, you know, is people will tell you that chicks dig confidence. And that is true to an extent, but if you're so, like, way too confident, like, you're so confident you come off as arrogant, you know what I'm saying? Too much confidence is a bad thing. And that's one thing I can say I'm not hypocritical on, because I have no confidence in myself whatsoever freaking ever. If anything, it's given me something to reflect upon. You know, learning experience. Some couples who cheat on each other, they're still together, you know what I'm saying? But some couples, you know, yeah. And that's just the thing of it, you know, rather than cheat on somebody, you know, break it off with them, you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't that be easier than going behind someone's back, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. One of the reasons why I set the ashtray down on the floor rather than set it from my desk and pick it clean was so I had to physically bend my head down on front of the camera to pick out the ashtray. So that way I can say, if you want to take pictures or a still shot of my balding head from my trichoteria, you know what I'm saying? Go right fucking ahead, I don't care. You know? You want to make YouTube accounts making fun of me and shit? And then come at me on my channel, it's like, you know what, I'm just going to block you from my channel, you know. And like I said, I know it doesn't justify my rotten jokes, but I'm not physically going after other people on YouTube to make fun of them, you know what I'm saying? That's the difference. And I know it doesn't justify my jokes, I'm just saying though, you know. Well, I had to fart, but it wasn't that loud. Oh, man. Digging the cigarette butts out of your ashtray and putting them in your pipe. Ooh, that tobacco's harsh. Oh, man. That'll put some hair on your balls. Look. Now there's various things I can do to stimulate hair growth on my head. I take my finger and put just a little bit of pressure on my scalp and rub the area of my scalp vigorously like that. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a circulation of blood flow to that area, and it's going to stimulate hair growth. That's one of the things I regret doing in my life, YouTube, was, cheating on my first girlfriend and shit. That's one of the things I regret, And you can't spend the rest of your life living in regret, People make mistakes. We're not perfect by any means. I mean, my excuses are my excuses, if you want to call them that. But if I get a girlfriend and I manage to make it last a long ass time, why would I want to do something to fuck that up? And, that's the problem with alcohol. Sometimes you don't always necessarily think, So, but out in the irony, I've had a couple girls cheat on me from their boyfriends and shit. So, yeah. And they'll deny it to this day. Of course they're going to deny it. But, yeah. One of the girls in question was a multiple offender. I'm not going to name her name because I'm not like that on YouTube, but she went through 2 different boyfriends, and she was cheating on them with me. You know what I'm saying? So I can sit here and talk shit about myself all goddamn day and just blah, 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 blah. But if I can cause a girl to cheat on her boyfriends with me on 2 separate occasions, you know what I'm saying? By occasions, I mean 2 separate boyfriends, you know what I'm saying? Then maybe I have something that I'm not giving myself credit for. Just a thought. Yeah. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself in junior high and high school that, you'll get your first kiss when you're 18 or 19. You'll have sex for the first time when you're in your 20s, so don't stress this shit right now. Just because you don't have a girlfriend doesn't mean you're not important in some way. This is the thing I fucking hate about our societies. They make you feel like absolute shit if you're single. Oh, you don't have a girlfriend? You're less of... You know what I'm saying? Society makes you feel like less of a person if you don't have a girlfriend. And it pisses me off. No, YouTube, having a girlfriend is a perk, okay? It's not a requirement to surviving life. If you can pay your bills, put a roof over your head, and food in your stomach, and maintain a job, you can do all of that without having a girlfriend, okay? But to be fair, having a girlfriend does make life a little bit sweeter, not so bitter and, yeah. Now, my question is, do you think society drives people to cheat? Now, what do I mean by this? You know, when society makes you feel like absolute shit if you don't have a girlfriend, and you're what we call a late bloomer in the love department. You know what I'm saying? It takes you well out of your high school years to get your first girlfriend. You know, and you know yeah, you know, it can overwhelm you a bit. You know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, you know. Although I will say that the last fling I had said that my dick was bigger than her last boyfriend's, so at least I got that going for me. And the reason why I broke it off with her is because, you know, we didn't have a whole lot in common, and I wasn't feeling a chemistry connection, you know what I'm saying? That's the nice way of putting it. No, but this is the thing of it, man, is when your friends try to set you up with somebody you don't want to be set up with, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. But, no, considering the way I ended my last fling, yeah, I kind of deserved to be single for a good minute. It was... And you might actually hate me even more for this, YouTube, but confession is good for the soul, even though I have no soul. The last fling I was with, she was a little too fat for my taste, and you can sit there and call me a pig all you want to, but guess what? Women have a type too, so don't even go there. But did I say that? No, I didn't. I thought that would have sounded, at the time, I'm like, well, that sounds kind of mean, so when she asked for a reason, why are you breaking up with me, you know? My response was, I'm just using you for sex. Yeah, as bad as that sounds. She left my existence crying. It was, oh, part of me was like, yeah, breaking hearts, man. Fuck yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just because, you know, you get your heart broken a couple times, it feels kind of nice doing it to somebody else. Which, oh, God, that sounds messed up. So, and I didn't want to be set up with her in the first place. But one of my friends was trying to set me up with her, and you know what I'm saying, like, and I hadn't gotten laid in a while, so I'm like, fuck, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a guy, what do you want from me? That's my excuse. And, you know what I'm saying, like, not only that, but she called one of my favorite bands Screamo, and it's like, well, wait a second. Black Veil Brides are Screamo. Okay? Oh, When she called, like, I showed her Cradle of Filth, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, oh, Screamo. And I'm like, oh, you did not just, no. You don't insult Cradle of Filth like that. I'm like, oh my fucking god. For the record, Cradle of Filth doesn't really consider themselves a sound, to be specific, but most people consider them British black metal. You know what I'm saying? And that was like several months ago last year when that fling happened. And, you know, karma's a bitch, let me tell you. And if I'm single the rest of my life because of it, well then I fucking deserved it, didn't I? You know what I'm saying, for being a pig, but you know what? Blow me. You get a girl that's offering you pussy, you know what I'm saying, like, and it's clean, why the fuck, you know what I'm saying, like, why the fuck you gonna deny yourself that, you know what I'm saying? And the weirdest thing, too, is every time I've had a girlfriend or a fling of some sort, you know what I'm saying, it brought out confidence in me. And other women around me noticed that and subconsciously responded to that. Okay? And it wasn't, I think to myself, well, now that I'm with somebody, now you care to check me out? Okay, I see how it is. What the fuck ever, you know? But then I think to myself, maybe that's not the issue entirely. Maybe it's just because I'm displaying a little bit of confidence and showing, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Gotta take my Asperger's, be like, fuck it. Take my trichoteria and be like, fuck it. Take my antisocial behaviors and be like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you've all been here on camera, watched me on camera confess things, you know what I'm saying? There's times I just hate going to bars because if I want to talk to a girl, I can never muster the courage to do it, you know what I'm saying? I think to myself, you know, get drunk enough, get some liquid courage in your system, you know what I'm saying? Fuck. I can't remember the last time I've actually been to a bar, you know, which, the only reason I go to a bar is for the, just get out of the apartment, you know what I'm saying? And you go to a bar that serves food especially. Frosty's makes these burgers that are like this fucking big around. They're like, oh. And they're so damn good. But, yeah, that's beside the point. Yeah, looking back on the, situation, I kind of hate myself for the way I broke up with her. Like, if I could have been brutally honest, but at the time, like I said, I thought that was kind of mean, so lying about it to make it worse, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know. And women who see this might look at me and go, oh, you're such a guy, you're such a pig, oh my god, okay. Did you hear what Rob Dyke said on his channel? How many women out there have used guys for dick? Don't bullshit me. I know you're out there. So, yeah. Just putting that out there. Or how many women out there have used men for something? So if you women out there giving me shit about it, it's like, wait a second. I'm not saying you personally, but, you know, both sexes are guilty of this. So, both sexes have no room to talk. Even if you hadn't done anything, you know what I'm saying? Now, is it fair to assume one thing about an entire sex? No, it isn't. But then again, life isn't fair, so. But I remember when me and Stephanie were dating, and when I could actually afford to take her out to eat and stuff, you know what I'm saying? In public with Stephanie, you know what I'm saying? I can remember taking her to the bar, and I'd take her coat and put her on a chair for her, and then I'd pull the chair off her and stuff, you know, old school gentleman status, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. And I know some people are gonna comment on this. Wait a minute. I can distinctly remember you saying in a comment section of a video that you wouldn't use somebody for sex because that's shallow. Then I guess I'm a shallow person, YouTube. But it was like a one-time thing, and I'm not gonna do it again, honestly. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I'm not that shallow. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing though, YouTube. If you're trying to set your buddy up with a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying, then wouldn't it be easier to try to find a girl that you know that your buddy's gonna get into real quickly, you know what I'm saying? Or a girl that's gonna share similar interests with him, you know what I'm saying? And finding a girl that you know is gonna like your buddy, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, friends do that kind of thing all the time, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you know, my friends be like, we need to get you laid. And I'm just like, I'd rather smoke pot, honestly. There's less drama attached to smoking pot. You could buy a bag of sativa, have it stashed on you at your house or whatever, go to your buddy's house, smoke an indica. You come back to your apartment or whatever, and your bag's not going to be like, oh, you smell like sativa or indica. You know what I'm saying? Like, your bag of sativa is not going to be like, oh, you smell like indica. I see how it is. You like indicas now? Okay. Now, here's the thing. If you're in a relationship with somebody, try not to check out other people while your girl's there, because some girls don't like that. Okay? But to these girls out there, okay, ladies, hey, what's up, ladies? No, seriously, ladies, if you catch your guy checking out another girl, two things. One, who is he still with? If he's still with you, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Second thing, don't react to it. Pretend like you don't even notice. And then, in fact, if you want to prove a point in your relationship with your significant other, ladies, check out guys in front of him and see how he reacts to it. And if he gets pissed off and butthurt about it, it's like, all you gotta do is say, well, what about that bitch you were checking out the other day, huh? You know what I'm saying? Which, I don't know how that's gonna go down. That might cause you to fight in your relationship. But that kind of proves my point. You know what I'm saying? Women who act high and mighty and judge men for their behaviors quite often will exhibit the same behaviors themselves. You know? Women will get pissed off at men who don't like fat chicks and sit there and say, oh, all you're doing is fat shaming. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, there's a huge difference between fat shaming and having personal fucking taste. Okay? You go to someone's YouTube channel and they're overweight and you sit there and you talk shit on them, oh, you fat fucking piece of shit. Why don't you get on that fucking treadmill, you fucking fatty, and blah, 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 blah. That's fat shaming. Okay? That's fat shaming. Okay? But acknowledging that you like a certain body type doesn't make you a pig. Okay? It means you have preferences. And the same can be said for, because this is the thing of it too, is women who bitch about men not liking fat chicks, when in fact some of these women aren't even fat themselves. They're just doing it because they're pretending to care. That's all they're doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real. And it's like, wait, before you go off judging some other dude for having personal taste, I'd ask these women, you know, what kind of guy are you into? See, there you go. You have a type. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Women can be just as decisive as men. There is no denying this, YouTube. You want to talk about equal awareness for both sexes, man? Yeah. 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 Women are just as good at breaking hearts as men are, so... Man. Ugh. How long have I wasted on this video? Oh, god damn it, an hour long. Well, if you can sit through this hour-long video, you know, yeah. And the thing of it is, too, is I tried telling my friend that I wasn't interested in her, that she was, you know what I'm saying? You know, I tried being nice about it, but the friend of mine that was setting me up with her at the time, you know what I'm saying, wasn't getting the subtle hints that I was implying, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. God damn it. I'll knock my phone off the desk. Trying to reach for the camera here. But yeah, the top of my head looks pretty freaking gross. Like, yikes, YouTube. I mean, you can see what trichoteria can do to somebody. Like right there, especially where it's really bad. Go ahead and get a close-up of that. Yeah, right there especially you can see is where I've picked out the hair the most. That's pretty gross looking. Ugh, man. Yeah, that's my trichoteria for you. It's if so I sit here and be like, alright, let's see if I can cover that spot up at least. I got a little bit of hair right here. I can, yeah, okay, go like that kind of. Doesn't really hide the fact that I'm thinning from my trichoteria. But, yeah, at least I can have enough hair to try to cover some of that up. And the reason being is, I mean, if I take like all the hair that I've picked out from this area has healed up completely. I mean, yeah, it's ugh. Like, yikes, man. I mean, I see how nasty that shit looks, and I think to myself, if I keep picking, then the top of my head's gonna look a lot worse than it already does. So, yeah. And obviously, I don't care about what people think about me or say I'm on YouTube. Otherwise, I wouldn't have just sticking the camera and, you know, showing off my trichoteria there. I really wouldn't call it showing it off, but more or less bringing awareness to it. So grab my comb here and see if I can work with it. Let's see here. I'm gonna lean towards the light here. Yeah. So all I gotta do is comb my hair a little bit, and it looks 1,000 times better just from combing my hair. So like if I wanted to go to the bar and I wanted to wear my hair without the bandana, what I could do is comb my hair like this right here, and then put it in a ponytail and see if that. So let's see if that works. Now the thing of it is if I can cover it up relatively decently, then I at least got that going for me. Alright. Oh yeah, look at that. That's what's up. Now I can choose to focus on the fact that, you know, my hair looks kind of funky when it's not combed right. Or I can focus on the fact that I still have a shit ton of hair in my head, and that's pretty long. It's long enough where I can, you know, do kind of a slicked back sort of look. And I can comb it, and when I comb it, you can see it covers it up pretty decently. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but you compare this to what it was before, and you know, and yeah. I don't know how much hair plugs would cost, but if I could get them, you know what I'm saying? I thought about it. Yeah, okay. It doesn't look nearly as bad as it did before, so, you know, that's a plus, I guess. And the reason why, you know, it looks so bad back here is because back here, like right here, and then right there, is where I've done most of my picking. And, you know. Now, like I said, you don't need a relationship to be happy in life. You really don't. But, you know, if you're not interested in somebody, you know, then, yeah, no, I got no room to fucking talk about. If you're not interested in somebody, then you shouldn't be trying to date them. But look at all the hair I'm pulling out from my brush here. Yeah. I do that every so often. Yeah. And you know, by filming the bald spot on the back of my head, I'm giving all these trolls that make fun of me plenty of ammo. But it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? You're still obsessing about me anyway, so, yeah. The thing of it is, I can block people from my channel all goddamn day, you know what I'm saying? Like, if your comments get to the point where I don't want to deal with your crap on my channel, then, you know, I have that option. And I will use that option as much as I see fit. Anyway, this is KingCobraJFS with another video. Thank you for watching if you sat through this entire fucking video, and I'll catch you all later.